Well, morning again, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the breakout sessions. Having Antonio has done his commercial bit, we can now get on with the serious bit. Um, to me, it's a great pleasure to introduce the next session, which is very much focused on towns, cities, locations, and we're going to dig deeper into what we're taking the liberty of calling the Portuguese capitals. Sorry, Lisbon, but that's the way it's been phrased. Um, and we have representatives of both. Unfortunately, Ricardo Variente, who's a stalwart of this event, hasn't been able to join us. So from Porto, who did the first presentation, great to welcome Rui Monteiro, who is, if I get this right, Director of the Municipal Department of Economics in El Porto Municipality. And representing Lisbon, we have Joana Almeida, who is Councillor for Urbanism, which I call town planning in my very British way, and for transparency and anti-corruption at Lisbon Municipality. I thought it's lovely to have the mix of town planning and anti-corruption. I think we might be getting something right now. There's no way there's any corruption going to be got away with in Lisbon municipality in town planning by the looks of it. So if I could invite you both up here. Rui will do the first presentation. Joanna, Rui. And I will let you two get on with it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Joana, thank you, Roger, for the presentation. I'm here on behalf of Ricardo Valente, City Council for Economics, Entrepreneurship and Talent. I will have this presentation in two blocks. The first to talk about Invest Porto. Some of you in the room are already clients of Invest Porto. For the ones that are not, I will show what we do in Porto in order to attract investment. On the second part, I will showcase a little bit about what is Porto and the region and try to answer the question, why Porto? So, starting about Invest Porto. Invest Porto was created in 2015 and started to operate in 2017. And it's an IPA, an investment promotion agency that aims to capture, attract and retain investment in the city. Not just real estate, but investment at large. We have three main areas of services. The first one that is attraction and facilitation. This is the early stage when the investor comes to us and try to understand and assess if the city fits what the investor wants. The second one is aftercare. This is something that we have been working and investing deeply in the recent years. So the journey doesn't end when the investment is done. We aim to, as we say, retain it and have a follow-through of the investment process even when the project has ended. And the third one is talent. I will talk a little bit about this third pillar more in the end of my presentation, but we also provide services of connecting the stakeholders to the talents of the city, because without people, we will not be able to do anything. This is a visual representation of what is the landscape of companies that are presently in Porto. As you can see, it's a broad spectrum of areas. And also with a very high scope in terms of international geographies. We have Portuguese companies that are now referenced around the world, like Farfetch and Talkdesk. And we have also a big representation in terms of Germany, France, UK, United States, and other countries. So this is a picture of what is the economic landscape and the ecosystem of the city. Here also a brief note that maybe most of you don't know, but we have in fact representation in the city of 9 unicorns at this stage. Some of them you will know for sure. And as you can see, very related to IT, fintech, and also health, as we saw in the previous slide, here also represented in Swarth Health. So we have, the city has been able to attract very big players on that aspect. I would like also to share to you two things that we are working currently. The one is called the Leading Investors Program. This is something that is under development, but I share with you. It's when we identify key investors that can have a big impact in the economic landscape of the city. We are developing a program that will enable them to have a dedicated and specialized team to help throughout the process from the early stage of contact with the municipality until the investment is done, and then on the aftercare. And we will work with them, especially in PR events, trade fairs, and so on, like the one that we are going to be present in Munich in a couple of weeks. Another service that is under development that I would like to share with you, because when I look at this wall, I see a lot of stakeholders, is what we call the marketplace. When the investors come to us, most of them usually want to have reference about legal counsel, tax, HR, and so on. And we, as a municipality, are not able to indicate specifically one or another firm, as you can imagine. So the marketplace is a set of companies from different areas and services that we can put on this marketplace that are checked by the municipality. And if an investor arrives to Portugal and wants to know what type of consulting can have, for example, in tax, they can go to the marketplace and they can find players that are certified by Invest Porto, and they can connect with each other and they can choose whatever supplier of services they want. So if you are in the room and you don't know this project, you can contact Invest Porto to be in this marketplace and be able to provide services to investors in this aspect. The issue of talent for us is a key word. I don't know if you know this name, Rami Manuel. It was chief of staff of Barack Obama and mayor of Chicago afterwards, and he wrote a book called The Nation City. The subtitle was Why Mayors Run the World, and he identified 5 T's for cities to have success. The first one was talent, the second one was training, technology, transportation, and transparency. So talent for us is something very important, and I will finish with the talent word. So we are very involved with the academic community, with the University of Porto and the Polytechnical, and also try to promote and connect the stakeholders in this aspect. This is our online platform about Porto for Talent, when this marketplace happens of supply and demand from both sides. So, who we support? Here are some numbers of the companies and investors that we are supporting since 2017 to 2022. These are the top investor origins, the top foreign direct investments. So UK number 1, after France, USA, Israel, followed by Germany. In terms of sectors, we will see this ahead. Real estate is number 1 at this time, closely followed by digital and IT services, and then followed by business and financial. I will call your attention of health and life sciences, because it's something that we will see that can grow substantially, because in Porto and Porto region and north of Portugal, we have very good conditions to boost this sector. Health Cluster Portugal, for example, is located in the region. So, as you can imagine, in 2020, we had a downslope regarding the COVID crisis, but we recovered very well, and the perspective is very good in terms of the pipeline of projects that we are seeing coming to Porto region, which means that the city was resilient to the COVID crisis and is now very well positioned to to follow through the journey that has started since 2017. This strategy has been recognized in recent years by Financial Times, the FDI Awards, and we have been working since then to position Porto as in the mid-sized cities group to be as much competitive as possible. This kind of information is very relevant because investors usually look at these rankings because they are independent, and on this aspect, Porto has been performed very well. And now, trying to answer the question, why Porto? This slide has a specific word, is a competitive economic region. I will stop about this word region because when we promote Porto or Lisbon, in the case of Porto, we are promoting the city, of course, because I work for the city, but a region. And this approach has been now implemented in an effective way because we are going to be in Editorial in the beginning of October, and we are going to present a project that is on the magazine that is called Greater Porto. So we are now showcasing the city alongside Gaia and Matosinhos, and this is a different approach because when people arrive to the city itself of Porto and they cross the bridge, they will not have the perception that they are changing the city. So they look at Porto as a broader region, and this approach is now going to be presented at Editorial, again named Greater Porto. So looking at the numbers, not of the city itself, but just for those of you who are not familiar with some statistics of the region, I will highlight here that in terms of exports, we represent almost 50% of the goods. In terms of some key issues like quality of life, we are the best small city to live in the world according to Monocle in 2021. And also, we have been working very hardly in the issues of sustainability. That is an issue that is present in all of the presentations and interventions that we have seen until now. And Porto, as last week, presented the Pact for the Climate, and we are very keen to have a city that is recognized to be sustainable. I will make just a brief parenthesis here, because nowadays when investors come to the city, this is an issue that is on top of the agenda. They want to know what is the positioning of the city in terms of sustainability. It's one of the 2 or 3 top questions that we have. So the investors want to know, in terms of the broad scope of the planning of the city, where we position ourselves in terms of sustainability, because investors don't want to be in cities that don't have this kind of performance and benchmark alongside other international capitals that stand very well in this aspect. So here's some numbers about foreign direct investment projects since 2017 to 2021. Again, a slope in 2020 due to COVID, but as you can see, we are getting back on track on that aspect. A brief note about a document that was produced and presented in April by Commissar Elisa Ferreira in Porto of the European Union that is called Pulsar. Pulsar is the strategy for the economics of the city on the medium-long term. We have listened to almost 100 stakeholders of the city, and we try to identify the pillars for the economic drive for the next 10 years. And this is aligned with a new program of funding of the European Union 2030. So after the auscultation of stakeholders, we identified that we are now moving from a more Porto towards a better Porto. Our city is small, the city itself, only 42 square kilometers, and we are now trying to leverage what we think can grow in the economic landscape that is already in place, stimulate some areas that are, in our opinion, need to grow more, that are in early stages. Here, the role of the municipality, it's like a fire starter, and then articulate everything in order to move forward, as we said, from more Porto towards a better Porto. In this study, we identified key sectors, and the ones that are related to this conference are, of course, real estate and sustainable construction. This is aligned with Pulsar and the main economic strategy for the city for the next 10 years. I will finish now with a brief video because I show you a lot of statistics, numbers, KPIs, but the city is done by people, and the economics of the city, on my footnote was economic department, head of economic department of the city, but I don't make the economics of the city. The people do the economics of the city. You make the economics of the city. People make the economics of the city. And instead of listening to me, I will invite you to listen to people that are in the city, that live in the city, that work in the city, and probably will end in the city because they love the city.
We never know what is the outcome of an action, but we need to give it a try so we know if it's working or if it's not working.
À Porto, j'avais un frisson particulier. Je me sentais bien dans cette ville.
Eu amo esta cidade e já tive muito tempo lá fora, noutras, e temos um conjunto de fatores que é mesmo muito raro e que eu gostava que não perdesse.
O facto de termos o rio permite-nos observar a cidade do outro lado, porque nem todas as cidades têm essa possibilidade, não temos sempre uma vista privilegiada. Neste caso é muito bonito porque parece que efetivamente construíram o Porto num sítio para ser olhado.
É uma cidade linda e calma, portanto, eu estou disposto de viver aqui até o fim da minha vida.
Qualidade de vida para mim é poder não usar o meu tempo em deslocações desnecessárias, é poder, num raio de 10 ou 15 minutos, chegar a um espaço verde, encontrar um parque infantil, encontrar comércio local, encontrar disponibilidade cultural e ver diversidade de pessoas na rua.
Voltar para casa, ir dar uma corridinha, dar um mergulho no mar e vir descalço para casa. Isso para mim não pode haver melhor. Aquela sensação de tomar um chuveiro e ver a areia a ir pelo ralo, parece que se está em férias permanentemente. Há assim esse lado que me encanta muito.
Uma cidade sustentável é uma cidade que consegue crescer e consegue evoluir sem atingir um ponto crítico de não retorno em que algo correu mal e agora não podemos voltar onde estávamos antes.
O mundo saudável é muito importante porque senão nós não temos vida, não conseguimos respirar se não houverem plantas. Se não houverem plantas ou árvores, não conseguimos viver, por isso temos de tentar poluir o menos.
I think the sense of community is at the center of everything. As humans, we are social beings. I can only be who I am because of you and in my relationship to you and to other people.
O lado humano da cidade é sem dúvida mais importante. Uma cidade sem pessoas é uma cidade fantasma, não tem utilidade, é inútil. A cidade tem que ser vivida pelas pessoas, tem que ser agregador de pessoas, de comunidade, de redes.
Há qualquer coisa de facto no nosso ADN ou na forma como crescemos que nos faz ter um amor pela cidade e uma identificação com ela e com as suas gentes e com a forma de estar que dá esse sentido de comunidade. Portanto, nos impele a respeitar-nos pelo menos uns aos outros. Acho que é um dos pilares da comunidade, assenta no respeito.
Somos fortes, somos resilientes, somos simpáticos, queremos beber uns copos todos juntos.
Il faut d'abord le développement. Quand on a le développement, eh bien, on peut redistribuer, refaire du social. Quand on a fait du social et qu'on redistribue, tout le monde va mieux, le niveau de vie monte.
What happens next? You know, I think we're just in a really challenging time. It's a really, really challenging time.
Moi, je pense qu'il faut toujours avoir l'espoir de demain, parce que la vie a toujours une fin, mais il y a toujours un recommencement.
quero ficar aqui até ao fim da minha vida, aqui, essa fé eu tenho dentro de mim.
Now is the moment of Porto. I really strongly believe in that.
Cities should be always planning for the future, celebrating the now, but focused on the future, because it's not about us, it's about future generations.
Good morning. I start by António Gil Machado. Thank you for the invitation. And then by Rui Monteiro. Congratulations by the great presentation. And for those who don't know me yet, I'm Joana Almeida, that kind of strange person who accepted to be the Councillor for Urbanism and at the same time the Councillor for Transparency and Anti-Corruption of Lisbon Municipality. Why invest in Lisbon? Firstly, I'd like to say that Lisbon and Porto, we are a team. We are not competitors. We are a team. We are Portugal. But anyway, I'm here to remind you why you should invest in Lisbon. And for that presentation, I'm going to organize it in 4 topics. Lisbon's attractiveness, what we want, what we are focused on, and what we are committed to. Starting by Lisbon attractiveness, I'm going to show some numbers and some key performance indicators. As you may have already noticed, Lisbon is a very attractive city. It has a great climate. It lies on a beautiful natural site along the Tagus estuary. Its neighborhoods display history and modernity side by side. Lisbon's metropolitan area is home to close to 3 million of the country's 10 million inhabitants. It's the largest economy engine for the country, generating 36% of the country's GDP and the largest center for higher education with 34% of university degrees and 38% of higher education students. Hosting 29% of companies, it is especially dominant in high-tech, with 47% of digital companies and 44% of creative companies. And it attracts over 50% of expats living in Portugal. About key performance indicators. First, safety and quality of life. Lisbon is trending. It frequently pops up at or near the top of global and European rankings in areas such as quality of life and attractiveness for tourism and investments. It is attracting new foreigner residents, technology workers, university students, and digital nomads. Second KPI is technology and innovation. The city has been showing a very interesting dynamic in attracting foreigner investments, for instance, in research and development or digital startups. Lisbon is the most attractive region in the country, and the top investors in Lisbon are USA, Spain, and Germany. Another KPI is the international scale. Lisbon is an European capital. The municipality of Lisbon is in the inner core of the metropolitan area along the north bank of the Tagus estuary. It is the center of a much larger metropolitan area with close to 3 million residents. You are in an area with an enormous potential to grow. Second topic, what we want. More inhabitants, we want more companies, and we want even more quality of life. We want to provide more housing so as to attract more residents. We have been attracting companies, but we are committed to attracting more, generating jobs and creating a diversity of uses is important also to balance the different urban functions in different parts of the city. Finally, we are deeply invested in improving the quality of life for residents and workers, encouraging sustainable approaches to urbanism and public space design management. To achieve this, we are improving public spaces and promoting walkable neighborhoods, in keeping with the 15-minute city concept, namely to a new program that we called A Vida no Meu Bairro. In English, There is Life in My Neighborhood. We are also promoting better and more inclusive mobility and improved proximity public services in all neighborhoods. Topic 3. What we are focused on. We are focused on 3 priorities. Simple and clear licensing, create new intervention areas, and create new lands of opportunity. We know investing in Lisbon is not always as easy as it should be. Time is money, and in Lisbon, that sentence is even more important. We do not wish to be part of the problem, but rather part of the solution. We are laser focused on having faster licensing, and we are implementing dedicated project managers. For the moment, we have almost 200 processes with project manager. Ensuring transparent communication and real-time project tracking. The Mayor, Carlos Moedas, has made a public commitment to improve the permitting process, reducing waiting times and significantly increasing the clarity and reliability of regulations and requirements. Second priority, create new intervention units. In the Lisbon Municipal Plan, we have a huge area, 1,300 hectares of new development area. In Portuguese, these areas are áreas a consolidar do PDM. And you cannot develop your project if you don't have previously approved an intervention unit, in Portuguese, unidade de execução. Currently, we have only 55 hectares of approved intervention units. But we created a specific team to work on the creation of new intervention units, and for the moment, we have in working process 153 hectares of intervention units. Third priority, create new lands of opportunity. Most urban development and renewal initiatives need active and invested private partners. That's you here in this room. We can offer engaged and continuous communication with developers, ensuring follow-up from the very first steps up to the project implementation. We are progressively assigning dedicated project managers that are tasked with ensuring transparent communication and expedite procedures and internal coordination. We have already been able to reduce the backlog and permitting times, and we will keep working on further improving them. 2 areas that we choose for 2 opportunities. First opportunity, Val de Santo António. Val de Santo António is a large zoning plan currently under revision. The new proposal sets up around 270,000 of square meters of gross construction area, which could translate in around 2,200 new middle-class dwellings. We want, for this plan, sustainable and innovative solutions with best practices in energy and water savings. And we estimate around 13 hectares of green areas. The second opportunity is Beato Marvila Urban Renewal Area. The neighborhoods along the eastern riverside were historically composed of industrial fabric and workers' quarters. For the past few decades, several structures have remained empty and are available for redevelopment and renewal. The area is already host to a few creative hubs, including a unicorn factory, and student housing and industry to housing conversions. So we have here a total surface area of 160 hectares, and for the moment we are working in an intervention unit of 30 hectares. Finally, final topic, what we are committed to. Fast permits, for which we are having the Kaizen Institute and our services analyzing and optimizing workflows. Clear regulations. We are clarifying some regulations, and we are creating the Lisbon Urbanism Academy with topics concerning permitting, building, and urbanism regulations. For example, tomorrow we will have a working session with an audience of architects and engineering working in these clarifications. Our motto is to build a city with the people and for the people. In what concerns real estate, that means continuous and frank communication. For example, tomorrow morning, our team, the Lisbon Municipality technical teams, we will work together with the technical teams of a developer to guarantee that the project will go in a clear and faster way. So, to finish, committed to fast permits, clear regulations, and continuous communication from the very first step of project management. Thank you very much for your attention.